Every time a cop kills or brutalizes a black person and isn't convicted or even charged, we wonder, how did that cop get off? While we hope for a different outcome each time, true justice does not ride on a guilty verdict, nor is the value of black life determined by it. Cops go free because they're protected by our laws, our culture, our institutions, by the people who run them. Luke Stewart woke up to someone pounding on his car window. Surprised, he started to drive. Then the person jumped into his car, hit him in the head, tased him 6 times, and shot him 5 times, killing him. Luke was 23 years old, unarmed, posed no threat to anyone. His killer? A cop, who got off because he knew how to use the law to protect himself. 2 legal ideas explain how cops can commit brazen violence against black people and not be held accountable. First, you have the use of force standard, which gives cops the right to arrest, beat, and kill if they simply utter magic words afterwards, like, "I feared for my life," or "I feared for the safety of others." The second legal idea is a very tricky one. You see, you can't successfully sue a cop for their misconduct unless the exact same thing has happened before, and a judge has already said that that was unconstitutional. That idea is called qualified immunity. Let's break both of them down. When cops use verbal commands, physical violence, and even kill, and they say what they did was okay under their use of force policy, judges determine that that was lawful. So the Supreme Court made almost all police violence lawful. The court has said that a police officer can kill if they fear for their life or for the safety of others. Even when we can see that the cop went way too far, the court says it's legal if a, quote, reasonable cop would have done the same in that moment. Cops don't use 20/20 vision of hindsight. Quote, if an officer reasonably but mistakenly believed that a suspect was likely to fight back, for instance, the officer would be justified in using more force than in fact was needed. That means a cop can kill you just by saying someone is a threat to them. The Supreme Court said we must trust the cops because they're forced to make, quote, split-second judgments. If a jury or judge believes the violence was reasonable and intended to save their life or others, the cop is just not going to be convicted. They often don't even go to trial, honestly, because they use those magic words in police reports. Survivors and families of victims of police violence often file civil suits to hold cops accountable, suing for money damages. But even when cops admit they violated a person's civil rights by using excessive force, they're not held liable because of qualified immunity. And this is important, because qualified immunity lets cops walk if the exact misconduct has simply never been ruled unlawful in another case. So basically, cops claim they didn't know their conduct was against the law. So if one piece of the story was different from a prior case, that cop goes free. There's one wild example I want to share with you. A judge dismissed a case against cops who sicked a dog on an unarmed person that was sitting on the ground with his hands up, because the almost identical case only made it unconstitutional to sick a dog on a person who was laying down on the ground as opposed to sitting on the ground. Yep. Case dismissed. It's crazy. It's often said that no one's above the law. It's simply not true. Cops are constantly treated as if they are above the law. That's how they get off. Cops get off because our systems allow it. For our communities to thrive, we must redefine what safety means. We must work together to reimagine a world where we are all free and safe. Join us.